a lot about Bajaj Finance, but it merits some more analysis and insights. You look at all the details in the numbers, and Karanya, one still comes out impressed, because not just was their quarter 4 reported earnings a bumper set, also the road ahead looks quite promising.
Oh yes, the management was in fact on our channel talking about the extremely optimistic outlook that they had outlined on the channel right after the numbers. But looking at the stock as well as the financial performance of the company, it's really been a compounder, and that's exactly what we're doing today. We're telling our viewers how the stock has grown in terms of market cap, and in terms of asset, in terms of performance as far as returns go. Looking at the returns, then it's given a 67% CAGR return since 2008. If you see the market cap of the company, back in 2008, it was just 1500 odd crore rupees, and now it has showed up to a whopping 1.2 lakh crores. Talking about the AUM as well, it was just 2500 crores in 2008, and as on end of FY18, it scaled up to 84,000 crore rupees. Even the return on equity has seen a very sharp spike, because back in 2008 it was just 2%, and right now it is 20.5%, and 20% is an ROE which they have been maintaining for the last 2 fiscal years as well. And even going forward, analysts are extremely upbeat, and they see the range being maintained, which is above 20%, ranging between 20 to 22% to be exact. But talking about the stock price, the stock has grown almost 120 times in the last 5 years. 1 lakh therefore invested in Bajaj Finance. If you would have invested in 2008 1 lakh rupees, it would have actually been more than 65 lakhs on as on date. And in fact, one of the biggest assets of the company is Mr. Rajeev Jain, who's been managing the operations very, very efficiently for the company. He joined the company when the loan book was just about 25 to 3,000 crore, and look what he's done to the company. It's showed up to 84,000 crore rupees odd. What's really working for the company? Here are some points. The company was incorporated as early as 1987 as Bajaj Auto Finance Company, but as on end of FY18, they have a extremely wide customer base of 27 million plus customers. They created the first EMI. That is something that also goes to their credit. The company has relentlessly targeted mass as well as affluent customers as far as the customer base goes, their target audience goes, and the company also boasts of one of the most efficient and best technology infrastructures in the NBFC business. Now, like I said, Mr. Rajeev Jain has been one of the biggest assets to the company as well. He's associated with the company for the last 10 years. In fact, April 2008 was when he was appointed as the CEO, and he took charge as the managing director as well in 2015. And he has over 24 years of experience, and you can see the kind of magic that he's really done to the company, and hence it's been such a compounder, especially in the last 10 years.
It is up 118x in last 10 years. That's Bajaj Finance for you. 1 lakh investment. Okay, something's wrong in the first graphic. 1 lakh rupee investment has become 65 lakhs in last 10 years. I think that's more like a reasonable number, because again, exactly 10 years ago, just a coincidence, the financial crisis happened. And if you use financial crisis for the base, everything is going to look great. And that time, the Bajaj companies was just spun off. And I distinctly remember markets criticized Bajaj management or Bajaj Auto management for spinning off the various businesses. But ultimately, this entire endeavor of spinning off the finance business separately has created humongous amount of wealth for patient and for seasoned investors. Amit Khurana, good morning. Thank you for joining us. Which is the next Bajaj Finance is making for you?
Well, you keep looking out for it, but obviously in hindsight analysis, it looks far easier to find these names. But I guess given the way the small and medium businesses are growing, I'm sure we will have something, especially on the online e-commerce space. I'm sure there will be names which will emerge. The second, I guess, the way the entire financial services in India is going through a major landscape change. You will have more names emerging as the PSU banks take a backstep. And obviously some of these NBFCs will emerge. Whether they give you similar kind of returns as anybody guess, we'll probably get to know in a few years. But yes, a lot of names doing the rounds. Significant
what would you buy?
Opportunities
what would
emerging.
you buy? I mean, I also understand that e-commerce will create wealth. I also know that there would be some AI inventor who's going to become the next billionaire. Something will come from 3D printing. I'm pretty much speaking what we both are reading in global press, that SMAG, 3D, digital, they will create wave. But how does one make money by betting on these themes? What is a stock to buy right now which has potential to scale up?
It's easier said than done. You got to essentially take a few calculated bets, bet on the entire model, bet on the promoter, bet on the individual. Now, in hindsight, everything looks very easy, saying, oh, this was a great name to buy. But having said that, the name that we just discussed also had its share of underperformance at various periods of time. So if you look at on a point-to-point analysis, it looks all very great. But finding such names is going to be definitely challenging. You got to look at spate of businesses, back them up, survive the underperformance for some period of time. And there are so many other great names doing the rounds even now. For example, some of the names we're still backing up, and even though they've underperformed, and of course from different sectors, is a name like a PI Industries. It's underperformed for the last 6 quarters, delivered lower than expected earnings growth for the last almost 3 out of the last 4 quarters. Our estimates have not been met, but we're still backing it up on the basic assumption that the market size for that as a business is so humongous, and the diversification that you're doing away from agrochemicals is going to play out over the next few years. And remember, this company still generates very decent ROEs, very decent ROCE, and literally a zero debt company. So those are the models you've got to keep continuously backing up, whether it comes from a financial services space, whether it comes from an agrochemical space, or whether it comes from an e-commerce space. Essentially, that's the conviction you've got to hold on. If it plays out, you enjoy the returns, the compounding benefits. If it doesn't, obviously one has got to take it on the chin.
That's true. What do you make of oil? We have to talk about that, Amit.
Well, we actually do have a stance wherein oil was going to move up. Our stance remains bullish on oil, and that's a negative stance on OMCs, and therefore we put out a note about 6 weeks back suggesting that move from OMCs to CGD. So we are backing up city gas companies on the assumption that the pricing regime is there far more easier to predict, is far more visible. The ability of the companies to pass it on is easier, and they are not subject to the government intervention. And in general, also we find the play on the green energy, the more eco-friendly energy space coming in from the government, and that itself has a big volume push for all these companies. So we are backing up CGD versus OMCs, and that's been the theme that we're recommending.
But what does this really mean for the upstream companies? I get a lot of questions on Facebook Live saying ONGC, Oil India, are they a buy? There's also a call on Ceylon exploration. It's a niche business, but they kind of have a competitive advantage as well.
Well, specific names in general, we've been negative on the PSU names, especially in the OMCs, as I said, including the upstream companies. So I would probably avoid playing those names definitely. Leave alone a trading bet here or there, which is something that we give out from our derivatives desk. But in general, I would avoid names on that front. Ceylon specifically, I won't be able to comment. I think we've not done enough work on that for me to make a qualified opinion on that.
Okay, but